Robert, Maleficent is your directorial debut. What did you enjoy most about the directing experience?
You know, I love filmmaking, and I always have. I grew up, my father was a low-budget filmmaker, but I love the filmmaking process, and honestly, I wanted to be a director when I was younger. I've been fortunate in my career to do some big films as a production designer. So to have this opportunity was such an excitement. There was nothing frightening about it, in my mind. It was a big challenge, but it was something that I wanted to have fun with.
Was there anything new that you learned that you never realized before about directing during this process?
You know, I don't think it's something I always thought was there, and then to find out it actually is there, and that is the strength of connecting with actors emotionally and working together to bring out a performance. That I always imagined how I would do that, and then actually doing that was a pleasant surprise.
So, any words of advice for aspiring directors or first-time directors as you've made this transition?
I think you have to be emotional yourself, and you have to be a great observer of the world yourself. Directing is a job, but it's not. My job isn't to teach people how to act. My job is to interpret emotions and then distribute them properly in a certain order that makes sense for an entire scene or entire film. So you become an observer of life, then you can understand emotions, you can direct.
So tell me a little bit, if you would, about the beautiful look of this film and how you drew from your production design.
Again, I think it's just, I'm a big, huge observer of the world and nature and reality and stuff. It sounds corny, but I like pay attention to the details where everybody else is sort of walking by. And maybe it's those little bits of information over the years that add up into something that feels unique and original, but is actually sort of right in front of you.
So even though this was a fantasy, it was important for you to ground it in reality. How did you do that, and why was that so important?
Well, there are elements of the story and the characters themselves that we can relate to because they're the same problems we have in our everyday lives. But so it's fun to do a film where you can relate to the same problems in many ways that the characters are having, but set in a fantastic world that you're able to sort of immerse yourself in and step out of your own life for 2 hours and explore a world not only visually but emotionally. It's something special about that.
So on this film, you were able to do some of these practical sets that we've heard about that are phenomenal. The actors really enjoy working on them. Was there a favorite one that you had, or one that was most challenging?
Well, we had many sets. I think I love the sort of great hall that we built. It was, right out of the days of like total old school big films of the like 1930s swashbuckler movies and stuff, and it was sort of cool to see, one of those big real Hollywood sets. And so I think seeing that with your own eyes, with this great character Maleficent in there blocking a scene, fantastic.
And speaking of the great Maleficent and the great Angelina Jolie, how was it to work with her, and what did she in particular bring to the role of Maleficent?
Well, she was already attached when I arrived, but she had always been interested in this character, and I think she not only physically embodied that character and became that character, but she brought the important part, which was the engaged emotional side to things. And if you combine that, then it's a super powerhouse.
What do you hope that audiences will take away after they see the film?
I think you want to step back into your own life, and hopefully you may have learned something about the definition of what you consider love to be, perhaps. If that happens, one time I would be happy because that was the intent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.